Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to talk about 5 things you have to know before buying the Sony a6000. And I want to do this video because I use now the Sony a6000 for around 1.5 years. And with the Sony a6000, I went through so many things. I've done a lot of photo shoots. I've done a lot of video with this camera. And there are 5 things I wanted to talk about today, which I like and dislike, and you should definitely know before buying because it's so important to know this. And I would say also we get straight into it. So basically the first thing I have to say about the a6000 is that there's no audio jack. So when you are, for example, into video and when you want to record with your Rode micro on your a6000, it's actually not possible. So I mean, there are ways, you can definitely figure a way around. So what I do, for example, is I record my audio externally. So for example, up here I have my Zoom H1 and it's recording right now. And then I sync it up with the Sony a6000 with the inbuilt audio. And I can also show you the inbuilt audio right now. It's not the greatest in my opinion. But if you just, do family videos or if you just vlog for yourself or for friends, it will definitely work out. But if you are into professional work, you will definitely be better off with like a Rode mic or an external recorder. There's also another thing I wanted to mention, and this is amazing about the a6000, and that is that when you are like into portrait photography, wildlife photography or sports photography, the a6000 is amazing for that because you can like shoot 11 photos per second. So when you want to capture that moment, this is something I love about this camera. And 10-15 years ago, when I got my first camera, like these small point and shoot cameras, it took like around 2 seconds to do a picture and then you had to wait a second. So with the a6000, I mean, you can do so many photos, and this is a great feature, that 11 photos per second for a camera, which has been released in 2014. This is something I love so much, and that's why this is a feature I highly recommend when you really want to have like this burst mode to get the a6000. There's also another thing I wanted to talk about, and this is to all you videographers out there, and that is that the Sony a6000, it has no 4K. And personally for me, it's not a big problem. I mean, 1080p is still great in 2021 if you are like into YouTube or if you are into like video in general. I feel like 1080p still performs excellent in my opinion, but if you want to shoot 4K, you cannot do that with the a6000, so you probably have to go like for the a6100 or a7 III. But if you, like I said before, just do something like I do right now in my YouTube studio, and if you're just beginning, 1080p is fine. And I just have to say with the a6000, the video quality is also very good. So don't really think about that too much, that you need 4K, because when you get 4K, you also have to pay way more for that camera when you want to go, for example, for the a6100. So just bear that in mind. The a6000 is great with 1080p, but like I said before, it has no 4K, so it's important to know that before you buy it. The next thing I want to talk about is that the a6000 has no touchscreen, and for me, honestly, like I said with the 4K, it's not a huge deal. Like, I don't need a touchscreen on my a6000. I mean, it's also a bit overhyped in my opinion that you need a touchscreen, and I mean, there are a lot of advantages when you have a touchscreen. I mean, you can just press on your LCD screen and then you can, for example, focus the model, and this is a cool feature. But if you're just starting out and if you are just into portrait photography and if you're on a budget, I still believe like you don't need that, and I'm actually pretty happy that I don't use a touchscreen, or I'm pretty happy that there's no touchscreen on the a6000, because imagine yourself like shooting and then you press accidentally on a different button and then your ISOs change, for example. So for me, I'm pretty happy that there's no touchscreen with the Sony a6000. But if you want to have touchscreen, go definitely for over Sony camera. And the last thing, and probably the most important thing to know about the a6000, is that the battery life on this camera isn't the greatest. For example, here is one of the Sony batteries I want to show you. And one problem I have with these are that they don't last long on your photo shoot. So for example, when you shoot for 3 hours, one of them is not enough. Like when I photo shoot, I take at least 3 from them with me because the battery drains so quickly. Like after like half an hour, your battery is around then 30%. So that's why I highly recommend that you gear up with batteries. So for example, I use like 3, which are also like rechargeable ones, and they definitely also work very good with the Sony ones. So make sure when you get an a6000 that you get spare batteries. And if you really don't want to worry about batteries, I would say you go for the a7 III because there you have like the better batteries. I mean, they're a bit more expensive, but they definitely last longer than with them from the a6000. So yeah, this is something you also definitely have to know when you get the a6000, that the battery life isn't the greatest. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I also hope everything in this video was understandable, and I hope also you know now a bit more about the Sony a6000 and learn something new. And if you want to see more content like this, you can definitely also check out Michelle's Photoshoot behind the scenes on the top left, where we have been to these cherry blossom trees in my hometown with the Sony a6000. And what is your opinion on the a6000? Do you think it's still worth in 2021? Let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much again for watching, of course. Take care of yourself and see you next time.